Just, I don't understand. Hey guys, Warm here. I'm here in the AMX 5100, the tier 8 French heavy tank, the one with the autoloader. And I know that I've already moved on to the tier 9 tank, and I've already sold this tank, but I forgot I had this replay in my files, and it's one of my better games and one of my last games that I had in this tank. And I really enjoyed this tank. I think that the autoloader on this tank is more indicative of the AMX 50B, which is the tier 10 tank. I think it's more indicative of that playstyle, although it's a little bit slower than the 50B. I think it has some similar characteristics to that tank, although the dispersion on this tank is very, very bad, which is one of the biggest weaknesses of this tank. I think one of the strengths is the inner clip reload, as well as the magazine size. This 6-round 300 alpha 100mm is amazing. 1800 potential damage at tier 8 is insane. And unfortunately, you pay for that with the insanely long reload of around 48 seconds. So you're pretty much going to be ineffective or out of commission for almost a minute in this tank when you press the reload button. So it's very important that you make sure you're in a safe position or surrounded by a bunch of allies, right? You don't want to be in a situation when you unload your clip and you're by yourself, right? So I like to play my tank very passively, at least in the beginning of the game, or at least if I am more aggressive, I want to make sure I have teammates. And one of the best positions that I like to go in on this map is, especially on the north spawn, is in the middle, right? You can get, there's a very good field of view with the heavies when they cross into the city. And you can also shoot at this position, which I showcased in my 5120 video, which I like to go here. So this is a counter position to that position, right? So because the reload is so long, I generally like to hold onto my magazine as long as I have 3 or more. I don't really like to not shoot all my shots in this tank because of the exceptionally long reload. Here I kind of make a mistake. I didn't realize that there would be a tank that would push around this corner here, and they shot at me. But luckily, I had my side angled pretty heavily, so they bounced. And I'm starting to notice that this side might fall soon, since this is a 4 versus 3, right? This challenger is not really pushed up. He's kind of not supporting his team, right? I think for the challenger, he really shouldn't be going to this side with the heavies, right? And here I'm almost done reloading, so I want to get into a position where I can support my allies. And so I'm trying to get into a position where I won't get spotted and I can help my team. I really want to finish off this IS-3, try to eliminate as many guns as possible. And he's a tier 8 heavy, so he's kind of a priority. And the artillery shoots at me. Rightfully so. I'm a top tier heavy and an AMX lightly armored heavy, right? So I'm a pretty high priority, and this is one of the brutal things about this tank is I track him and I 3-shot a tier 7 medium, right? So he probably thought that I wasn't shooting and maybe I'd be on reload, but unfortunately for him, that was a big mistake. And now I'm realizing that, yeah, we're probably going to lose this heavy side. And I'm trying to dump my last 2 shells, potentially, if I can. And I noticed on the map the super Hellcat pushing up, so I thought he might try to kill me. But he doesn't, and then now I don't even attempt to shoot my last shot because this side is falling very fast, right? It's a 5 versus 2, right? And this artillery kind of made a mistake on choosing that side. And so now I'm just gonna try to push, make my way towards a really potent bush right here. And I'm gonna, if you notice in my line that I take, I try to drive towards my teammates, right? And avoid getting spotted as much as possible, just trying to look at the rings on the map. So I'm just waiting for my reload, and this bush here is a very good bush that I like to use. It gives you really good cover, and it allows you to spot pretty much all the heavies if they try to push in, right? You spot this ML1, and now I try to back behind the bush, take a shot so I don't get spotted, right? And even with coded optics on this tank, I can't even get to the magical 445 meters view range. I do not run any premium consumables on my tanks. I don't think that, I mean, they're very useful, but I find it valuable to have a fire extinguisher, and I like to make credits, and I don't have a lot of credits, and there are a lot of tier 10 tanks that I still have to buy, so yeah, I think that that's important. And I don't really fire that much premium, even though I load a bunch of premium in my tanks. I just want to be prepared for situations, but I generally don't like to fire premium ammo. So this T-29 is pushing, and I'm holding my fire even though I have a sliver of his hull, right? I want to encourage him to push over more because I know it's going to take me 2 shots to hit him, so at least I need him to be exposed for at least 2 seconds. So if he goes up, and I made sure I backed behind that bush so that it wasn't transparent to make sure that he didn't spot me, and we take him out. So now I'm just checking the map, and luckily the score has evened out, and we're actually up on HP. As you can see on my mod pack, we're up about almost 2000 HP, which is really good, and I feel like this is one of the more valuable things in this. And this T-28 prototype is just, I don't understand his play there. Like, there's so many TDs on the side, and you know that the enemy is pushed through, so why are you pushing into multiple enemies, right? And after that happens, I know that we have to push the advantage, and I actually knew through my mod that the 703 was on low HP, and even if he wasn't, I mean, because my 1800 clip, as long as he is within my clippable range, I knew I was gonna push in, right? I mean, even that's why one of the most important things about this game is conserving your HP, right? I knew I could take his double shot of 300 alpha, right? So 600 potential damage that I would have taken if he double shotted me. So I knew I could take that damage, and so I was willing to go in and take him out. And he's a tier 8 heavy, so he's my opposite number, so that's a very important tank to take out of the game. And now our T-28 is just making a huge mistake as well. That tank is very slow, has very slow traverse speed, so when you're pushing with that tank, you have to make sure you're in a position either with allies where who can cover your flank, or you have hard cover like a rock or a building or something to prevent a medium or heavy to circle strafe you, right? And that's one of the most important things about this game as well, is understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your tank so that you can put yourself in a position where you can be successful, right? And here I'm just clutch shotting and shooting this SPG. Luckily he doesn't penetrate me, and now this is looking better, but it's still a 3v3. Luckily, we're up slightly on HP. And this is going to be... right now, I'm thinking, how are we going to carry this situation, since we don't know how much HP the SU-152 or Scorpion are on. So I just assume if I don't have any data on them, that they're full HP, right? Luckily, this Type 59 is lower on HP, right? The last time we spotted him, he was on 500, so I can two-shot him, potentially. And actually, luckily, our Stir Emil will make a push here, and luckily they're all one-shots. But that's hindsight 2020, but at the time I'm thinking that we might lose this game. Especially, I don't want to push here because this is just a huge kill zone that I have to travel through, where I'm wide open, there's almost no cover and barely any bushes, and they'll definitely outspot me, right? Being a heavy tank, I just have really bad camo. So I'm just waiting here, just trying to be patient. And I'm actually thinking like this Stir Emil is making a huge mistake by pushing, but he knows that all three of them are one-shots, and so he really just has the spot, and we'll be able to finish them off. So just being patient here, just trying to wait. And Scorpion is a one-shot, so I'm just trying to finish him off, and unluckily I hit him in the track or something and only do critical damage. There I get spotted, and the SU-152, okay, he just fired, so I know I can go out and take a shot and potentially eat a shot from the Type 59, but I'm okay with that, and I take him out. And then I'm a little bit too slow to invite the Scorpion to a cheeky brothers in arms. So let's take a look at the post-game stats. Okay, here we're in the post-game stats. This was an ace tanker, high caliber, and a top gun. And let's take a look here. This was 3,200 damage. I mean, that's really, if you think about it, that's less than 2 clips of damage, which is pretty crazy with this tank, seeing as it'll take me 2 minutes to reload those clips, and this is a pretty long battle. So, I mean, the potential of this tank is very high, and 1,258 base experience, which is pretty good. Our IS-6, you know, he held that flank as long as he could, and he did a really good job. Let's see, 22 shots fired, 16 hits, and 14 penetrations. So really, this tank has very good penetration for its standard rounds, and I'd rarely fire premium unless I'm in a tier 10 game. Again, with this tank, I think it's very important to flank around and do wise trading, right? Try to trade 1 shot or potentially, hopefully, 0 shots for multiple shots, right? And pretty much all of our damage was within 300 meters, right? And we received 4 shells and 2 penetrations. So we actually bounced 2 shells, which is kind of surprising. And we had 1,300 assistance damage. And we only made 4,000 credits, which is, I mean, even the standard ammo is pretty expensive on this tank. So that's another reason why I don't really fire much premium rounds. And 11-minute battle, so a little bit longer than usual. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the AMX 5100? And what's your favorite tier 8 tank? Tier 8 regular tank. I know I've been showcasing a lot of premium tanks on my channel. Yeah. Please like, comment, and subscribe. War Room out.